emotions. And that's what really love is about. Love is about increasing in stature with some certain things, reducing in stature as well with certain things. Things such as annoyance, anger issues, pettiness. You grow out of it. Tantrums. Those of you who have children who are probably 15 now, you can remember how they used to throw tantrums when they were maybe 5 or 6 or 7, when they didn't quite know how to control their emotions. You grow out of it. Our final conversation is about cancer. Unfortunately, not something that a lot of people tend to, in quote, grow out of. But it's the responses that we do hope people grow probably into. My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation on Hello Port Harcourt. Now, I'm reading right now from the National Library of Medicine. It's an online journal, and you can get that at the NLM and www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. And it's all about cancer. Yes, you probably heard yesterday is World Cancer Day. Now, globally, cancer is a major leading health problem with an estimated 10 million incidences and 6 million cancer deaths annually. Annually. In the West, particularly in America right now, it is not unusual these days to hear, oh, my uncle has cancer. My uncle has this. My uncle has that. My uncle is doing this. My uncle is doing that. Even celebrities, oh, right now I'm dealing with so-and-so type of cancer. Or I was recently diagnosed with so-and-so type of cancer. And some people eventually died. More recently, and probably more popularly, Chadwick Boseman, the actor who portrayed King T'Challa in the movie Wakanda, right? Black Panther. Lots of people were shocked to know that he was dealing with cancer. A lot of people didn't know. And it was a very difficult thing to go through alone. And eventually, he lost the battle. Some people they fought, and they got well, they got better. Like, it's not a very easy conversation. I say this because I think, if I'm honest, there's a bit of a personal tone to this particular conversation, because I have had family members who were diagnosed, eventually friends as well who were diagnosed. Somehow, miraculously, they overcame it. Miraculously, they overcame cancer. I had a cousin who found a lump in her breast when she was 21 or 22. Pretty young. So from there, she has to go for regular checks to make sure it doesn't return, and to check if there's a marker, for cancer. It's a fear now. So let's come to Nigeria, right? And this study was done in Lagos. This was a few years ago, back in 2018. And then the results from that study showed that about 6,500 plus, roughly 6,600 deaths were recorded over 10 years, and 1,133 cases were cancer-related deaths, which places the percentage at just about 17.2%. But there are studies today that show that it's not conclusive yet. They're still ongoing. It shows that it might be on the rise. So, since yesterday was Cancer Day, World Cancer Day, I have to ask this question. How frequently do you go for checkups? Number 2, and probably the most important, how conscious are you of your lifestyle choices? Please let me repeat that. How conscious are you of your lifestyle choices? About 50% of new cancer cases in adults in Africa are due to breast, cervical, prostate, colorectal, and liver cancers. The question is, these 5 I made mention of: breast, cervical, prostate, colorectal and liver cancers. What are you doing in your life right now that could be predisposing you to these things? Are you making good lifestyle choices? Well, let's have a conversation, shall we? This morning on Hello Port Harcourt.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, so 017-923-0003, 0817923-0007, 0817923-003, 0817923-0007. The smart number is 070-0923-0923, 070-0923-0923, 090-0923-0923. Facebook and X at Nigeria Info, PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info, PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. Once again, if you just joined us this morning, we are talking about cancer in Nigeria. And two questions: how frequently do you go for checkups? And two, are you conscious of your lifestyle choices? Is this something that you worry about, talking about cancer? People very weirdly, for some, are beginning to go through treatments. I've had people, I know friends who have gone through radiotherapy, chemotherapy in this country, and they're not cheap. Now, if they were not cheap 3, 4, 5 years ago, particularly from the lockdown period of 2020, right? With current inflation rates, how expensive do you think those things are getting? So, are you prioritizing your health? Is this something that you should be worried about? World Cancer Day was yesterday. The theme, together we challenge those in power. So, who are those in power? I don't know. It should be the government. Shouldn't it? Anyway, let me hear from you. 070-0923-0923, 070-0923-0923. Zion is speaking to us from GRA. Zion, good morning to you, please.
Thank you again for this privilege you gave us to discuss about it. Early detection has been one of the remedies. So I guess you are drawing our attention so that most of us who ought to should do the needful. Jude, I want you to put this on record. Cancer now have a cure. So that for once we can tell our people not to feel this victory or feel that once they detect that they have cancer, all life or all hopes.
Well, I don't know what you mean by cancer has a cure. I do know some people have overcome cancer, right? They've taken the treatment, the chemotherapy, and they've gotten better. But I don't know if there's a particular cure. I don't know of that right now. I know science is studying.
I'm telling you for that.
We'll have to verify that, Zion.
I found myself in a relationship that what killed her mother was cancer. So everybody became so conscious about that. In fact, fear and tension was on the air. The whole women in that family too must die of cancer. No, it's not true. I have to do studies, research. I have sat down with cancer survivors. Those ones that even went through chemotherapy. The truth is this: information is power. Check your doctor on time. get all your tests necessary, especially to our sisters. Your mammograms, don't joke with that. If you don't know how to do the home from the home style, get a doctor, let them teach you. All to check those normal exercise, up, down, touch left, touch right, all those things. Why am I still contributing? So that our sisters should not feel, family members should not feel that when being diagnosed of cancer, all hell has been let loose. No. Here in Africa, here in Nigeria, here in Port Harcourt, there are cancer survivors.
Zion, we need to hear from you. Thank you very much. There are cancer survivors, but once again, we don't know of any cure. I need to state that categorically. Mira from Okrika, good morning to you, please.
Thank you, Jude.
Good morning.
Jude, honestly, it's heartbreaking with what is happening. At least I know 2 or 3 young women that have died through breast cancer. Honestly, beautiful ladies, so intelligent. Oh my God, Jude. But I want to advise maybe for women when they apply this body cream, made of so many chemicals, so many mixtures. Some people say it's organic, some people say it's no preservatives, no this. Try to avoid your sensitive areas, honestly. If you can avoid the way that there's so much chemicals in those parts. You don't know what am I doing those chemicals that is causing these things, honestly. Even for your little girls, try to tell them to avoid these chemicals. Always rubbing it on. Maybe if you can use a cloth jelly on those
okay, Mira, thank you. We have to go on a break and we'll be back.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeria Info.
Nigeria. Now, just like several countries similar to Nigeria, talking about developing countries, countries that have infrastructural challenges as regarding healthcare, health service provision, and when people talk about telemedicine these days, cancer is one of those things that tends to go under the radar. Now, it's not anybody's fault directly. We live in a climate where malaria takes first role and center in the roll call. We're dealing with maternal mortality, infant mortality. I will go as far as saying most Nigerians from a health. So a lot of people don't seem to face cancer directly. For a long time, I heard, now that thing when they happen for Yibo land. Now let Yibo land it happen, not they happen for here. But sadly, research has shown that it's creeping up. Now, on the African continent and in Nigeria in particular. Now, back in 2020, about 1.1 million new cancer cases occurred in Africa with around 700,000 deaths. That's a staggering ratio. If 1.1 new cancer cases were confirmed with 700,000, so just basically speaking, just about 400 plus thousand individuals survived. Now, about 50% of new cancer cases in adults in Africa are due to, listen to this, breast, cervical, prostate, colorectal, and liver. So for breast and cervical, that already puts women at a very serious point. Right now, it's a serious disadvantage. Breast and cervical. As a woman, you are prone to having cervical cancer just because you're a woman. Cervix. Men don't have cervix. All right? The same thing for the male. As a male, the chances are there that, you are prone to prostate cancer because you have a prostate. Is there? A prostate is there. And then I asked the question, and I'm asking yet again, please, how frequently do you go for checkups? I haven't gone for an official checkup in about 3 years, if not 4. That's not great. That really isn't great. In fact, preparing for this yesterday, I kept slapping my head. You need to go. You need to go. You need to go. And 2, which many might say is the more important challenge. Are you conscious of your lifestyle choices? My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, so 070-0923-0923, 070-0923-0923, 070-0923-0923. All right, Charles Okpo from Alba sends a message on WhatsApp, and if you like to be like Charles, please, can we get your messages on 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. All right. So once again, phone number 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. The smart number 070-0923-0923. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. Now, WhatsApp, Charles Okpo from Alba says, I make it routine to go for medical checks and tests as a birthday present every year. Oh, this sounds like a good idea, Charles. I think this is something that everybody could actually copy. Charles makes the routine to have a medical check as a birthday present every year. So once a year, probably on his birthday, or maybe on his birthday, or before his birthday, or during the week of his birthday. I'm not sure how that works. But here, take it. Birthday gift is my birthday. Go and see the doctor. That is actually a good idea. It keeps it better for tracking. All right. Okay. So I'm going to answer this question. Clement is saying, Jude, how do you have this delicate topic and you didn't bring a resource person to throw light on it? Some persons will blame village people as cause of cancer when they call, and for one very simple reason. Because I am talking to you directly about your lifestyle. Now, obviously, we're going to get guests on the various shows, probably during the week or even on this show, to talk about the dangers of cancer, how it can manifest, the technicalities. Yes, but you listening this morning, are you first and foremost mindful of your lifestyle choices? That's what I want to find out from you. Do you take into consideration everything that you say you do, how you do what you do, whatever it is that you're doing? Do you? Like I said, that's the most important question. The other question, yes, how frequently do you go for checkups? I think we can apply that for virtually almost everything, whether it's diabetes or whatnot. But you see, this lifestyle choice, because the precursors for cancers, there are a plethora of them. But just like you have with diabetes and all the others, there's a lifestyle. So obviously, those of you who have been paying attention to the media in the past 20 years, past 2 decades, you've probably seen that globally advertisement for cigarettes has greatly reduced. And even when you get to be able to purchase a pack of cigarettes, it is stamped very boldly. Smokers are liable to die young. That's a lifestyle choice. That is an example of a lifestyle choice. Speaking of lifestyle choices, let me write this down so that I don't forget. All right. Let's write this down. We have a conversation about this most likely tomorrow. Okay. Here we go. All right. So 01792300002, 01792300003, and the smart number is 07009230923. All right, Muriel's back on the line. I'll get to Muriel shortly. Good morning, Jude. Things I do to prevent cancer and other illnesses. Don't use tobacco or alcohol, cigarettes, and hard drugs at all. I regularly eat healthy diets like diet rich in nutrients and supplements. Very important. I maintain healthy weight and do physical exercise at least for 5 minutes daily because regular exercise strengthens the immune system and helps in regulation of chemicals, enzymes, and hormones in the body. I try to sleep at least 8 hours a day. Hey! Because regular sleep helps maintain the healthy lifestyle. I need to talk about this. I try to reduce interference with hazardous environment because of the kind of rays and radiations that can easily be a major factor. And lastly, I go for checks once every 6 months. Christopher. Muriel, welcome back. Good morning to you, please.
Yeah, Jude, thank you.
Thank you, please.
Jude, I was saying to try as much as we can to watch what we have on our body. Yes, especially on the parts. We should try as much as we can to preserve this part because these are the parts that are supposed to be to cancer, and we should try as much as we can to avoid rubbing clean this chemical process from them. And for the children, we mothers that have children, we want to keep children come down with cancer, different types of cancer. Yes, and we should try as much as we can. These different kinds of juice, artificial food, some everything. Please, our kitchen should be more of natural food. We got a blessed for spaghetti. I'm not trying to but so many topics. We should give them a local plantain, yam, beans. We should cook this sachet tomatoes. Don't eat it, please. We should calm down. Go for the natural tomatoes, natural pepper. All those things are better, far better. People is faster than all these processed foods. So that there's no tomato for them good. No supermarket. You enter this, you buy this, you buy this, you buy supermarket. Now, if you go to some supermarket, if you don't manage their business, they'll sell it. Try something. We don't put preservatives. We should help us to avoid it. It can help reduce it, even if there are other things, channels that people can contact this involved. Trying to do what we can help. Honestly, it's not prevalent. It's rising. Even as children, that's what is happening. That's the one that pains me most. All right, thank you, Jude.
I thank you, and we appreciate the time that you took out to share your views with us. That's Muriel from All Cricket. Now, just quickly, let me get to WebMD, and it's a very popular question, and a lot of people have asked, oh, is there a cure for this? Is there no cure for this? Let me say this. Now, officially, doctors don't know everything about the disease, because the weird thing about cancer, it can spread to any part of the body. It can originate from any part of the body. All right? Instead of talking about cures, in quotes, most medical professionals use the word treatment. All right, so that's why you have chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and in some cases, in extreme cases, there's an excision of the part or the tissue that is cancerous. So you hear things like, we have to operate. We found a tumor, it's cancerous, and the best thing that we can do now is to operate, so we can ligate, so we can cut off. We can excise that particular bit so that it doesn't spread and give you a chance, to, be better. All right. So why don't you choose this? The doctor will give you. Now, most common types of cancer: breast cancer, prostate cancer, basal cell cancer, melanomas, colon cancer, lung cancer, leukemia, lymphomas. I've had friends who have gone through leukemia. When someone just wakes up one day and just everything is just wrong. That's how it started. Right. So, and the only way that happened was because the very first sign that something was not right, my friend went to the clinic, immediately went to the hospital. That, no, this is not how my body reacts normally. Something is amiss. Now, Charles says, water every time. One should take at least 5 to 10 liters of water every day. All right, that's on Charles Support in Aba. All right, water is good, right? Keep yourself hydrated. That's not a bad advice for almost anything. Facebook now, at Nigeria Info PH. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. We're talking about cancer in Nigeria, at Nigeria Info PH. Now, I remember a few years ago, somebody was talking about, there is a cancer research center, if I'm not mistaken, at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, right? So when that was built, a lot of people were saying, finally, because it was becoming a burden, to people around these parts. It really was, ladies and gentlemen. And I wouldn't want anybody, and I mean nobody, not a single person would I want to have that experience, to go through cancer. Not one. And I mean nobody. I wouldn't want anybody to go through that. 017-923-0002. I have just about 5 minutes before we wrap up here. 017-923-0002. 017-923-0003 and 070-0923-0923. All right, this one here says, hi Jude, good morning. I believe there are lots of things in our society these days will place people in arm's length when it comes to cancer, from the quality of food that we eat, and also to what we ingest. A lot of those alcoholic beverages that we take in, many of them are not properly produced, and it could lead to cancer. Well, it's possible. Like I said, research has shown that some of the lifestyle choices, which I'm asking, are you careful? What lifestyle choices and changes are you making to prevent these things? So a caller made mention that, hey, exercise works, diet, taking a lot of fruits, that's what he does, that it's no longer a death sentence, that there are ways to aggressively fight it, and like I said, there are different types of cancers. They are. But all of these things have some level of treatment. And the very popular treatments: chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and eventually surgery, so they can snip, cut. If they can get to the organ, the organ has now become cancerous, they can snip it, cut it, and so it doesn't spread and cause more damage. All right. Hi, good morning. It's very sad that a lot of people who likely would get down with cancer are not even listening to this. I have this theory that some people in the rural areas are more prone to these issues than those of us who are here in the urban centers. The reason is because there's a lot of pollution that ends up in those rural areas, and those contaminants will seep into their water, seep into their food, and most people will ingest these things and may just likely get cancer unknowingly. That's a possibility. It's amazing that actions and activities in one area would give rise to problems from another area. It is very sad. Like I said, it's a very heavy conversation, and it's part of me that is feeling very weighty right now because, I've seen it happen. One of my friends lost his mother to a cancer. They had to fly her abroad then for the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, blood work, you name it. They did their very best. Spent a lot of money. When somebody is not coming to school, not because school's on strike or the person is sick, but just because they were trying to raise money to send their mother abroad. That's a very difficult thing to go through. And before I leave, right, let me say this to anybody who's listening right now, who's going through cancer treatment, any parts of Nigeria, whether you're in Port Harcourt or not. Find the slither of hope and hold on to it. Please. Find the slither of hope and hold on to it. Well, Dennis will be coming up very shortly after the news. News is in about 8 minutes. And after that, the sunny side of conversations. My name is Jude. Thank you as always for joining us.
Are you up to date with ideas for sustainable development?
92.3 Nigeria Info serves you opportunities
to ask great questions,
contribute solutions,
and transform society for the better.
I'm listening. Are you?
Talk.